No arson, no accelerants, no fire damage beyond the body, just a pile of ash where a man once sat, and a mystery science has never fully explained. Welcome to one of the strangest unsolved deaths in American history. This is the terrifying case of spontaneous human combustion in St. Petersburg, Florida, a case that left firefighters, doctors, and investigators baffled. And if it happened once, what's stopping it from happening again? It was a sweltering summer morning when the landlady of a modest apartment building knocked on the door of Mary Reeser, a 67-year-old widow who lived alone. She had planned to bring her a telegram, but there was no answer. Curious, the landlady turned the doorknob, only to feel a wave of heat pour out of the apartment. She stepped inside. The room was quiet, too quiet. The walls were still intact. Furniture was untouched. Nothing smelled like smoke. But there, on the floor near a melted chair, was a blackened pile of ash, a few charred remains, a single foot still wearing a slipper. That was all that remained of Mary Reeser. When firefighters arrived, they were stunned. Mary Reeser's body had been almost completely cremated. Experts would later say the heat needed to do that would have to reach 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than most house fires ever burn. But here's the thing. The walls were still white, a nearby newspaper was untouched, plastic items nearby hadn't melted. A candle on a dresser had softened slightly, but hadn't run. And the rest of the apartment? Barely warm. Firefighter. A fire that intense should have set the entire building ablaze. Instead it burned her, and almost nothing else. The theory of spontaneous human combustion, or SHC, dates back centuries. Cases where people were found burned to death without any clear source of ignition. Often the torso is completely destroyed, while the limbs may be partially untouched. The room around them shows minimal fire damage. In almost every case, the victim is alone. And in many, there's no sign they even tried to escape. Could the human body really ignite on its own? Doctors, scientists, and skeptics have long tried to debunk SHC. Some of the explanations include the wick effect. The most accepted theory proposes that a small flame, like a cigarette, ignites clothing. Body fat acts like candle wax. The fire burns slowly, over hours, melting fat and using it as fuel. Sounds logical, right? But it doesn't explain why only the body burns and nothing else nearby does. Also, Mary Reeser's chair was partially intact. If fat burned like a candle, wouldn't the entire room have gone up? Another idea. Mary had a heart attack while smoking. The cigarette fell, lit her nightgown, and the slow burn started. But again, why no struggle? Why only one slippered foot remained intact? Why no burn marks above waist height? And if you've ever seen even a small house fire, you know smoke travels, heat rises, and everything nearby gets torched. Not here. Now here's where things get really weird. When the official reports came out, they called it accidental death by fire of unknown origin. But people weren't buying it. Let's look at some of the darker, stranger theories that emerged after. Could this have been a test of some extraterrestrial technology? A focused heat beam? A disintegration ray? No sign of entry. No noise, just ignition. And the precision? It almost seemed surgical. Some pointed out that Mary Reeser had been despondent. Some even whispered about occult practices, unsavory connections, or suicide by strange means. No evidence was found, no symbols, no rituals. But what if there didn't need to be? What if Mary wasn't the only one? Others say her death resembled a failed test of a chemical or biological weapon, something sprayed, released, or activated remotely. Or perhaps Mary was an unwitting subject in a Cold War experiment that went too far. Mary Reeser's death wasn't the first, and it wasn't the last. A man explodes into flame while sleeping. His bed is untouched. A woman bursts into flames walking down the street. Witnesses see no source. No one can put her out in time. Michael Faherty, 76, is found burned in his living room. Fireplace untouched, no accelerant. Coroner lists it officially as spontaneous combustion. Each case is almost identical. Victim burns while alone. Room remains mysteriously unburned. No clear ignition source, minimal struggle, official cause unexplained. Back in Florida, Mary Reeser's apartment was sealed off. Forensics teams combed every inch. They tested for gas leaks, electrical shorts, chemicals, radiation. Nothing. The FBI was even called in to test for explosives. Nothing. Eventually, the file was closed. The remains were buried. The mystery was left behind. Let's review what we know. A woman sitting alone in her chair, no known cause. Burned to ash in a fire hotter than cremation. Nothing else caught fire. Mary Reeser's case remains unsolved over 70 years later. Could this happen to you? Could your body just ignite? Science says no, but history suggests otherwise. Whatever you believe, natural phenomenon, murder, freak accident, or something beyond understanding, one thing is clear: something happened in that Florida apartment that defies logic. From fire we came, the ancients believed, and to fire, we may return. Mary Reeser's name may be forgotten by many, but the scorch marks she left on reality still linger. Be careful when you're alone. Don't sit too still for too long, and if you feel a sudden warmth, don't ignore it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button, subscribe for more haunted mysteries and unexplained deaths, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Have you heard of other SHC cases? Do you believe they're real? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every one. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and never underestimate what the human body is capable of, in silence.